Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of Thought number 1682. 1682 with a show for you. For Sunday, we are in Sunday Stories, The Dirt Merchants, a true story, a novel, a coming of age adventure, a triumph by Henning Morales. Henning Morales wrote this book, and he has a program called Mindatorium. You can find him online, Mindatorium. He's the CEO of eWorld Companies, a publicly traded company committed to utilizing new technologies to create events. Spencer says, "Why do you leave these sessions so early every day?" Well, there has to be a way. Okay, let's just go start over here. Where? One of the staff members suggested summer classes. She explained that there was an excellent summer program at Harvard University with open admissions. She explained that it entailed real Harvard courses and professors and that he would have no time for anything but school. But if he did well at this summer program, he would be considered for admission to NYU as a transfer student. He proceeded to write a check for $2,402 to Harvard University for calculus and economics classes and 2 months' stay at the Dunster Dormitory on the Charles River in Cambridge, virtually exhausting his merch-moving savings. Spencer had a nonstop stream of weekend visitors at Harvard, completely baffled by the turn of events. His mother, father, all his friends wanted to visit, yes, but mostly people wanted to see it with their own eyes. He did nothing but attend class, study, and participate in intellectual conversations and study groups at the library. He had to pinch himself when he realized one day that he was helping full-time Harvard students with complex economics lessons, one of the students being Paul Wiley, who went on to become an Olympic gold medal figure skater. Spencer said, "Why do you leave these sessions so early every day?" Paul said, "Practicing my skating routine. I'm training for the Olympics." Spencer says, "If you say so." Before leaving for New York, he made sure to get a copy of his grades to bring them personally to his new friends at the NYU admissions office, not suspecting that as he drove the 5 hours to the NYU campus that the staff had processed his Harvard grades and his applications and that he was accepted. He was to start the following Monday. He went on to make the dean's list every semester at NYU, became a leader in the business fraternity Delta Sigma Pi, DSP, where he developed lifelong friendships and was awarded the University Honors Scholarship. Spencer's proud mother and father were able to see their son recognized by the president of the university, and other notables earned a 3.9 grade point average in economics and received the Omicron Delta Epsilon Award for Outstanding Scholarship in the field of economics. He acquired 2 motorcycles, 2 cars, an apartment, and sufficient spending cash with the money he was making moving merch on the weekends. He graduated in June of 1989 cum laude from the Stern School of Business of NYU with a degree in international business and international economics. The day after graduation, he received confirmation of his acceptance to the University of San Diego Law School, where he was to study international business transactions. After deciding to put off law school for a year, he was hired as an account executive for an international environmental solutions company, and by the spring he was living his dream in San Diego, hanging out with his uncle on weekends and looking forward to the absence of harsh winters. He moved into his dream house on the beach and bought his childhood dream car, a Porsche 928. Teddy was living in San Diego by then, and the two stayed in touch and remained lifelong friends. Teddy would go on to launch a new merch mover business with stereo systems, make 10 million, and retire at 40. Ride the lightning side to chapter 32. Friday, April 20th, 1990. American Airlines Flight 218 came to a stop at Terminal 3 of Newark International Airport. The ding sounded, indicating that it was okay to unbuckle and move about the cabin. A polished businessman in his 20s stood up and headed for the garment closet. His dark brown eyes were penetrating and focused. His fresh haircut was short and gelled back with slight spikes meticulously positioned. He wore a flawlessly tailored and pressed gray pinstriped suit with a crocodile belt and brand new matching black wingtips. He pulled a leather garment bag out of the closet and threw it over his shoulder, grabbed his briefcase, and headed off the plane. He moved his slender and athletically built body through the airport swiftly toward the rental car area. After making pleasantries at the counter with the sunny, attractive Avis representative, the young man was handed the keys to a 1989 Grand Marquis, and he walked out toward the parking lot. His face was stamped with a look of confidence and satisfaction combined with a slight smile that never left his face. He found the black sedan, threw his things in the trunk, got in, and started her up. He reached into his top left pocket and pulled out a cassette of Metallica's Ride the Lightning, popped it in, and turning it up to an ear-piercing level, headed for the parkway. Side 2 of the tape was just beginning as Spencer pulled the Grand Marquis off the parkway and made his way to the ultra-luxurious private golf club. Looking for a place to park, he heard a familiar voice coming from an oncoming golf cart. "Spencer, over here, man." Spencer looked up and saw Jim Brown headed toward him. Jim pulled his golf cart up to a new BMW 7 Series and loaded his dubs in the back. Clubs in the back, I'm sorry. It's curved. Sorry. "Park over there." Spencer got out of the car and the two embraced. Spencer could tell that Jim had lost about 50 pounds and his patented mustache, but it was the same old Jim, jolly loud and wisecracking. We are reading The Dirt Merchants by Henning Morales, Highwayman edition. This is Morsels of a Thought, number 1682, days in a row. And we are here to get morsels of a thought of hopefully wisdom that we may hopefully know what the right things are to do. Because knowing the right things to do and knowing how to avoid the pitfalls is wisdom, our wisdom. And doing the thing is virtue. So we're bringing more virtue into the world little by little, morsels at a time. Okay? He was dressed in high-end, this is Jim Brown, high-end golf gear, gloves and all, and wore a gold Rolex masterpiece, the one with all the diamonds, on his left wrist. The two made their way over to the restaurant and sat at a table by the window facing the greens. Jim couldn't stop smiling proudly and introducing him to his fellow members as they walked over. After they ordered, Jim said, "Spencer, man, you have no idea how happy I am that you called me. I've been in touch on and off with Frankie and Clay and Teddy and followed what you have been up to. That no one heard from you for a while, and then all of a sudden you're in college at NYU, no less. Now out in California killing it, and now law school. Man, I'm proud. I knew that eventually you would call me and come and see me, and I would be able to explain to you what happened. I mean, I'm sure you heard rumors, but I wanted to tell you straight." Jim was all smiles, just shy of giddy, but talking smoothly and confidently. "That day, the last day we saw each other at my condo, was the lowest point of my life. What you didn't know is that I had become addicted to cocaine in a major way. I mean, I always used recreationally, but little by little it was getting easier to get. And the more money I made, the more one particular dealer buddied up to me, and it was carte blanche. I was fiending almost every day. The days I wasn't doing coke, I would call you, come into the office and try to work, but I couldn't. All I wanted to do was go back to my place and do lines. All the time, I became a bona fide junkie. It was ridiculous. People say bona fide is bona fide in Latin. It was ridiculous. I know you noticed something was up right in the beginning, but I couldn't tell you. I promised your father, even though I knew he was pissed off at you for the decisions that you made, that I would keep you out of trouble, so I kept you out of it. All those nights hanging out, I would go off and get wasted. You wouldn't believe how much I did, man. Remember Scarface? Well, it wasn't that bad, but it felt like it. Kenny and Gino and some of the other guys knew, but I made them swear never to tell you. I knew how you felt about the company and your loyalty. You're a persistent, loyal punk. They chuckled slightly. Their food came, but neither budged. I went through all my money, $300,000 cash, then I used the untouchable money that I used to cash flow the merch from the guys in the city. When I didn't pay them, we got cut off and it was over. Working in the field with you was the only part of that period that was positive for me, but I was so burned out and wasted I could hardly function, and I almost couldn't hide it from you any longer. I kept trying to shake you, but you kept holding on. Every time I tried to blow you off, you came back stronger. Although I had you come out in the field with me, and it was fun. I was such a jerk to you, sending you the message to split. But you laughed it off, all those comments, all that negging. I never saw anything like it. I was so obsessed with cocaine that I didn't make payments on either the car or the condo for months. That weekend before our blowup, my car was repossessed by the leasing company. I sold my boat 2 weeks earlier for pennies on the dollar, and they came to take that as well. That day, the last day I saw you, was the day I had to turn over the keys to my condo to the bank foreclosure department. You believe that, bro? What a scumbag drug addict I was. That was the day I purposely started the fight with you, demanding the $50, and you finally had enough, let me have it, and took off. I cried when you walked away, buddy. Physical tears. That night I did more lines faster than usual and started having trouble breathing, and then chest pains, and then I collapsed. I called Mary and she took me to Holy Name. They stabilized me, but she made me call my father and tell him everything. She also made me promise to quit. My dad came the next day and took me to rehab where I spent the next 3 months. Then the meetings I still hit today. Tears started to run down Spencer's face, and his body turned warm as the realization overcame him. Both of them were in a trance as they relived the biggest game-changing day in their lives. They looked down at the Dover sole in front of Spencer and the salad in front of Jim. They wiped their eyes and dug in. After a couple of bites, Jim raised his fork and continued. After 3 extreme months in that place, I was off the big guy cold turkey. My father took me in, and I stayed at his house in Bloomfield and went to work for him in his mortgage company for 300 a week. Imagine that. I was making 50 G's a month with you guys between Lodi and the various offices I was overseeing, but I did it. I humbled myself and learned the mortgage business. After a couple of months, and we're doing mortgages tomorrow, guess what? 4 morsels of a thought of wisdom. But I did it. I humbled myself and learned the mortgage business. After a couple of months, I started closing my own loans and was up to 10,000 a month within 6 months. I started hiring some guys and set up my own office. Now I have 3 offices and I'm rich again. Mary, well, she stuck with me through the whole thing, and we got married right after I got out of rehab. We have 2 kids. Here, look at the pictures. He pulled photos out of his wallet of 2 gorgeous girls and Mary, just as Spencer remembered her. I bought this great house, but now I'm building a new one. I brought the plans so you could see. He pulled out the mini version of the architectural plans of what looked like a large mansion. 8 bathrooms, man. Do you believe it? They joked as they went through the plans. I always knew you were different from the other guys in that deal, Spence. I told you, man, we always land on our feet. I was always too embarrassed to tell you, but now I feel great. I know you understand. Look at you, man, college educated, going to law school. I'm proud of you. I hope you're proud of me, and I hope you can forgive me for what I did. I forgive you, Jim. I knew there had to be a reason that all that happened. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was pissed at first and hurt and all that, but I tell you, I thought of you every day since. I applied everything you taught me, and it works. I did the work, but you sent me down the road. The 2 old friends talked and ate for 3 hours, planning out all kinds of potential deals that they would do together. They would get together for this and that and team up on that. As Spencer drove away, an eternal truth came to him in a flash. Nothing is good or bad. Everything is growth, discovery, and learning, and the best of us will be thrown forth as we embrace our experiences and use all the knowledge accumulated for the benefit of ourselves and others. Everyone has his or her truth. Everyone is acting and making the best choice based on his or her point of view. We are doing morsels of a thought of wisdom. This is the wisdom of this book at the end of this story. This is morsels of a thought of wisdom, hopefully, that you know what to do, that the right thing to do. Doing the right thing is called virtue. So, continue. Everyone is acting and making the best choice based on his or her point of view. It's not good or bad, it's the best choice that can possibly be made considering the circumstances. There could be no other way. Rather than judge and resist, we should embrace and gracefully accept the challenges that present themselves because through these challenges we will be pruned, and what results from that process is a beautiful new creation. The end. I'm going to read that paragraph one more time. As Spencer drove away, an eternal truth came to him in a flash. Nothing is good or bad. Everything is growth, discovery, and learning, and the best of us will be thrown forth as we embrace our experiences and use all the knowledge accumulated for the benefit of ourselves and others. Everyone has his or her truth. Everyone is acting and making the best choice based on his or her point of view. It's not good or bad. It's the best choice that can possibly be made considering the circumstances. There could be no other way. Rather than judge and resist, we should embrace and gracefully accept the challenges that present themselves, because through these challenges we will be pruned, and what results from that process is a beautiful new creation. The end. Now, fade to black. There is an epilogue here. Looks like we're going to have to read it next time, actually. But fade to black, April 20th, 1990. Spencer Corrales left the meeting with Jim Braun in a sense of optimism and closure that he had never experienced in his short stint on Earth. He headed to his mom's house in Teaneck. As he pulled off the Route 4 exit at River Road, he noticed a dressed-up black BMW 7 Series with black BBS wheels, quad exhaust, and tinted windows all the way around. Cherry ride. He pulled the rental up to 624 Maitland, walked up to the house, and let himself in. He went straight to the couch, put his feet up, and dozed off. Spencer woke to the irritating ringing of a phone off in the distance. He stumbled off the couch and headed to the kitchen and picked up the yellow rotary dial phone. Hello, he said groggily, clearing his throat. Spence, it's Suzanne. I heard you were in town. How's Callie? You're coming out to TGI Fridays, right? Callie's great. I'm killing it. Yeah, I'll be there. Hey, while you're in town, you should head up to the house. Say hello to my aunt and uncle. You still living up at stately Wayne Manor with Uncle Ashton and Aunt Maddie up in Saddle River? Nice life. Yeah, still not getting along with my mom. You didn't complain about it when we used to have the place to ourselves on the weekends. I know, just busting chops. Yeah, they're in Jamaica till tomorrow. Maybe we'll all come back here tonight. You can bring your new supermodel of a girlfriend. We're finally meeting her tonight, right? Also, bought a new car, a new Jetta, red, totally loaded. The salesman said Spencer knew he had to butt in and end this, or he could be on the phone with her all night. All he could think of was getting the coffee pot going, so he interrupted. My girl is leaving for the day to Europe on a modeling gig, but maybe when she's back. Congrats on the car. See you at 9, right? Modeling gig for a day in Europe. Fancy schmancy. Okay, yeah. See you at 9. I'm leaving now. I'll be picking up Paulette in Paramus and heading down there. Suzanne hung up the phone and made her way from her bedroom toward the other end of the mansion, where her car was parked in the driveway, the garage being fully occupied by the Maserati, Ferrari, jet skis, and matching Harleys. The home was of the highest quality construction. Ooh. It had a handstone cut interior hand-cut stone interior, entry walls and stanchions, a custom slate roof with heated copper and lead gutters, imported custom windows, and massive iron railings. The two-story mahogany and marble entry foyer with sweeping staircase and coffered ceiling were spectacular. She walked through the massive great room with 25-foot ceiling and grabbed her keys that were on the ledge adjacent to the stone fireplace. She continued to work her way through the 11,000 square foot structure into the gourmet chef's kitchen with cherry cabinets, marble countertops, and additional stone fireplace, and grabbed a Diet Coke from the Viking fridge. She walked into the dining room where she had been going through a stack of old photos on the dining room table. The front formal dining room with 12.5-foot ceiling, recessed cove lighting, and a third stone fireplace. The dining room was adjacent to the fully equipped gym and indoor pool and spa. Suzanne stuffed the photos into her oversized designer purse and headed toward the garage door entrance. Just next to the side garage entrance was the office and commercial laundry. She set the alarm and locked the door behind her. Suzanne drove her red Jetta past the only other two homes on the block, one the home of a senator and the other a New York Giant linebacker. As she got to the stop sign, the dressed up black BMW 7 Series was pulling onto the street, passing the Jetta, and pulled up in front of Uncle Ash and Aunt Mattie's compound. Three men, two black and one white, but with eye black that football players wear covering his face, all dressed in black suits, black silk t-shirts, black leather gloves, and all black shell toe Adidas, quietly made their way out of the car. One of the men had a small shoulder bag with tools inside. They went straight for the fuse box. The driver, also in black, wearing a chauffeur's cap and driving gloves, hung a U-turn in the cul-de-sac, cruised to the adjacent street facing the back of the house alongside a wooded area separating the back of Aunt Maudie's house and the next street. It was virtually invisible against the backdrop of the woods. From all appearances, it was just another custom luxury sedan amongst a sea of similar cars in one of the most luxurious neighborhoods on the East Coast. What none of the neighbors suspected that it was one of a fleet of vehicles owned by the infamous James Bond gang. According to NBC News, the Wall Street Journal, as well as numerous other sources, the name James Bond Gang was coined because starting in the late 1980s, a gang of jewelry burglars who successfully targeted luxury neighborhoods used 007 style BMWs as escape cars. This particular vehicle was equipped with 3 car phones, police band radio, a pipe that would spray oil at pursuers, a flip-up license plate with a blinding light below it that could be aimed at pursuers, and rotating front and rear plates. In the short 3-year history of the crew, the total value of the stolen merchandise had exceeded 10 million. Although arrests were made during the years, the police were unable to get close to the founders and kingpins of the gang. Every time one of the members was arrested, new ones would be recruited, and no one had ratted. Not yet, anyway. Police's top suspects were the odd trio of a middle-aged Jewish diamond exporter, Avi Solomon, who served time for fencing mass supplies of stolen diamonds in Manhattan, and up-and-coming career criminals in their 20s, Julius and Brandon Davis of Teaneck, New Jersey. So we'll stop here. We'll continue on with the epilogue and the uh, glossary after this. This is such a cool story. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Old Kinderheck.